All right, so coming off the back of the World Cup, another fresh controversy has hit, the UEFA versus the FIFA organizations of football. And looking at what has happened, UEFA put up a statement, condemning and attacking the FIFA, that they are trying to sell football and all the rest. And this is going to affect the game, and they're putting pressure on FAs, to accept. So this is what happened. So FIFA is trying to sell some part of, the World Cup shares, to private investors. So what this means is that they want to sell, the rights, of the World Cup and, some rights of the football, and they want to call it FIFA Enterprise, something like that. That was the name they called it. So the idea is that they will sell the rights, of the World Cup to private investors while they control, the World Cup. So in other words, FIFA is giving the rights of the ownership of the World Cup to these private investors, and then but they will still be the ones running, the competition. More like I'm giving out my house to somebody, I'm selling my house to somebody, but I'll still be living inside as a tenant. That kind of a thing. So now they propose this to the FAs and FAs of different countries and all the people that are involved. That FIFA can't do anything without all the stakeholders and other associations that make up the FIFA body. So they reached out to all these people, but a lot of persons are not in support of this. And the reason is this: if these investors come in, they now own the competition, they now own the rights, they now own whatever they want to do with the game, and they have the right to destroy the game or even advance the game. And you all know that currently the way the game is going is more about business. I mean, look at what happened in the World Cup. Having to come off after 25 minutes to over for hydration break just to show adverts, and also having to come up with I think 30 minutes halftime break in the final. All these things are things that when you have investors who want to make money, they have to monetize every opportunity that they have, and this will affect the game. So a lot of these FAs are saying no, we don't want this. But now the thing is this: FIFA now gave them an ultimatum that, okay, we are supposed to give you this amount of money, but if you don't accept or you don't sign this for so time, we're not going to give you that money again. And that's more like you're putting pressure on the FAs. You're taking advantage of monies you're supposed to give them, which is actually their right, which they deserve to earn. You're using that as an advantage to pressure them, to accept whatever deal that you've come up to do. But UEFA has kicked against it. UEFA said no, that how can you come up with such a deal? We don't even know who these investors are. We don't even know where the money is going to. We just come up and say, oh, so person wants to buy this. You don't even know who wants to buy what. You don't even know, how much and where the money is going to and all the rest. And that even if eventually it is being sold, we don't even know how this is going to affect football. And they are saying no, that this cannot work. This should not happen. That football, is not anybody's property to sell. And actually that's the truth. Football is owned by everybody. Football, the players, the clubs, the players, the fans, everybody is what makes up football. And we can't just, FIFA can't just make up those kind of decisions, and expect everybody to follow up. At the end of the day, this decision might ruin the game. Already, we are very stressing how, political this last World Cup came out to be, with a lot of dragging from FIFA and all the rest. Coming up with this after this World Cup again is another. It just shows that this FIFA president, like, he's actually out of his mind. Like, I really don't know what to say, because, well, that is the beef between UEFA and FIFA. I hope I'm able to explain this to you so you can understand. See you in my next.